Hello everyone, Hawky here, back with another Sword of Convallaria video. So today we're looking at Parsifal. The Parsifal is of the Destroyer class, and he is part of the Drifter, Union, and Alacrity faction. And let's have a look at his traits here. So he increases the attack and defense by 5%, so 1 star. At the start of battle, gains Curse Armor Sin Binding. So this is a buff that reduces damage taken by 30%. For each debuff, increases defense by 5% up to 50%. At the start of turn, transfers 2 random attribute debuffs from all characters within 4 tiles of Parsifal to himself. So it basically helps the allies cleanse in a way. It takes their attribute debuffs and gains 1 stack of Curse Mark at the end of the turn. This effect cannot be dispelled or immunized. And continuing on with this effect, at the start of battle, we gain 2 stacks of Curse Mark, which stacks up to 4 stacks. And he gains this additional skill, Blood Offering. So back on the Curse Mark, it has additional effects when having Curse Armor Punishment, cannot be dispelled or immunized. And this is Blood Offering. So Blood Irrigation, bad translation. Let's continue on. Instant can be used when having 2 or more stacks of Curse Mark. Upon casting, gains the same number of level 2 buffs as the character's debuffs, up to 5, and dispels all debuffs. If there's no debuffs, gains damage 2 for 3 turns. Then gains Curse Armor Punishment for 3 turns, and finally restores all HP of the character. So after casting it, Curse Armor Sin Binding transforms into Curse Armor Punishment for 3 turns. When the effect ends, remove all Curse Mark stacks. The Curse Armor Punishment is here. It's a buff, reducing damage taken by 15%, generates 40% lifesteal, and increases movement by 1 tile. Increases damage and crit by 20% and gains Toughness. The Toughness is when he's immune to injured and dying effects. And then at the start of the turn, dispel 5 debuffs and gains a physical shield equal to 30% of HP. Consumes 1 stack of Curse Marks for each active attack or strike back, and transforms into Curse Armor Sin Binding when out of Curse Mark. This effect cannot be dispelled or immunized. So this is his original form, and then he goes a bit Super Saiyan, and then when he runs out of the Curse Mark stacks, he transforms back into the original form. And he's immune to block resolve, so enemies can't stop him from reviving. So he's immune to nullify resolve and nullify unlimited resolve effects. So he can definitely revive. So triggers resolve upon defeat. So he revives and he gains Blood Offering Finale. So Blood Offering Finale is a buff. Upon gaining this effect, immediately triggers the skill Blood Offering. So Blood Offering immediately triggers this Blood Irrigation skill upon dying, and gains the maximum stacks of Curse Mark. So 4 here at 1 star, leaves the field when out of Curse Mark or when the duration of this effect ends. Immune to Disrupt and Bound. This effect cannot be dispelled or immunized. So this is his last burst of strength, and yeah, he's limited by these 4 stacks of Curse Mark. And remember, he uses these Curse Marks for active attacks or strike back. So he needs to keep generating these Curse Marks. Otherwise, when in this finale form, when he runs out, he just disappears, leaves the field, or when this effect ends, right? Alright, so 2-star effect. Attack and defense increases by 10% this time. We still get the same effects, 2 stacks of Curse Mark up to 4 stacks, and then still the transformation for 3 turns. So the main change in 2-star is the attack and defense there. And then moving to the 3-star effect, attack and defense 10%, that hasn't changed, 2 stacks of Curse Mark up to 4 stacks. What changes here is this additional effect. When having Curse Armor Punishment, increases crit and crit damage by additional 20%. Otherwise, he gains 1 additional stack of Curse Mark at the end of the turn. So if he is in the Curse Armor Sin Binding, he does get that Curse Mark regeneration at the end of the turn. That does really help out with his kit there at 3-star. So at 4-star, what changes is his attack and defense increases by 15%. And the start of battle, he gains 4 stacks of Curse Mark here, and the max stack is 6 stacks. The rest is the same, and 4-star is a nice stopping point here for Parsifal. Then we have his 5-star effect. At the start of battle, gains Curse Armor Sin Binding, and he gets 6 stacks of Curse Mark. And the max stacks is 6 here. And then when having Curse Armor Punishment, increases crit and crit damage by additional 30%, so that's an increase there. Otherwise, gains 2 additional stacks of Curse Mark at the end of the turn. When having Curse Armor Punishment, additionally, he recovers 1 energy at the end of the turn. So when he does go into that Super Saiyan mode there. Yeah, 5 stars, really key for him. I do recommend either 4-star or 5-star for Parsifal. It is a bit late when we get him, so I don't think we'll have room to shard farm him. So his initial skill is a 2 cooldown charge, Raging Flame Shadow Assault. Instant, charges to the location, deals 20% damage to all enemies within 2 tiles. After attacking, gains 1 stack of Curse Mark. So remember when his skills do use the Curse Mark stacks, this is like a free use skill where he doesn't deplete his Curse Mark. So start a battle, we can go Blood Irrigation or Blood Offering, whatever the final translation will be. So this is where we can transform. And then it recovers our HP. Nice. And being a 5-star, we start the turn with 6 stacks of Curse Mark, and this depletes as we use the skills. So I'll just do a basic attack here. So basic attack, and then remember I also regenerate later on as well. So the Curse Mark depletes the 5 here, and we're in the Curse Armor Punishment form here for 2 turns, and then yeah, this is when we have the additional crit and crit damage. So this will just keep depleting when we cast our skills. We can cast the instant charge skill without depleting our curse marks, which is currently at 5. So we can just charge along. So that's still at 5 there. 5 curse marks, and then we'll just keep depleting that. And then our curse armor punishment is about to end. And we still had 4 stacks of curse mark, but yeah, we just transform back. And now we're back to curse armor sin binding. So for example, we can tank the weapon boss with Parsifal and trigger our finale. So he dies, revives, triggers, gets debuffed. So let's have a look at this. So max out Curse Mark, Blood Offering Finale, and we also got the Stigmata debuff there from the boss. So let me just end turn with Fatal here. And then we'll look at Parsifal. He cleansed that Stigmata buff, and yeah, after he uses up these 6 curse marks, he disappears. So Parsifal's skills, rank 1, we have Knight's Glory. So this is a fairly standard union sort of skill. Instant, grants the target's attack 2 for 2 turns. When they're from union, character gains additional physical shield equal to 20% of HP. Very standard skill. I don't think you really get much chance to use it. Nice HP mod. This is fairly unique as well. Energy Depleting Blow. 1 cost, 4 cooldown, 130% damage, and depletes all of the target's energy. Like, you wouldn't really use it, but it's nice niche skill that he has there. But mainly you're going after Knight's Glory for the HP mod there. Then rank 3, we have Curse Blade, Bloodshed. Passive increases damage by 15%, increases to 30% when having Curse Armor Punishment. So that's that transformation skill. And then at the start of turn, when having Curse Armor Sin Binding, so that's his initial armor, and is affected by Bound, triggers the skill Blood Offering if not on cooldown. So if he's in the initial state and he's CC'd, he triggers the transformation automatically and gains 2 stacks of Curse Mark after triggering. The Bound is a CC when he's like stunned, sleeped, frozen, that sort of thing. A pretty key skill to have there. On the right side, we have Scythe of Defilement. After actively dealing damage, removes 1 energy from the target, which can be triggered up to 1 time per round. At the end of the turn, the character recovers 1 additional energy. If the target was defeated during this turn, recovers 1 additional energy. A really key skill to have as well, so you'll need to Castalia this skill. Basically, when you kill a mob, it's 2 energy a turn, which helps out with his energy needs. Okay, let me try and play out this example. So you stand by here, and we get Simona come in and freeze us with a Winter's Doomsday. So he gets frozen, and then Simona ends turn, and then we see Parsifal automatically get out of the CC and transforms using Blood Irrigation. So rank 5, he does have a bait build. Like, this skill, this reaction on rank 5, Bloodstained Thorns, you don't really want to choose this for your standard build. So let me just go through this. When actively attacked by an enemy within 2 tiles of the character, from front or side, performs a strike back, dealing 60% physical damage to all enemies within range, can be triggered 1 time per round. So you could be like, oh, really nice, he does counter attacks. But the issue with that is, I remember when he transforms into his form with the Curse Armor punishment, when he transforms, it consumes 1 stack of Curse Mark for each active attack or strike back. So these strike backs would reduce his Curse Marks. And if he is in the Blood Offering Finale mode, remember when he runs out of Curse Marks, he leaves battle, right? So if you choose the counter attack reaction, that will deplete his Curse Marks to a point where he just basically just disappears without like being able to have his turn or use his skills because he's out of those Curse Mark stacks. This is only relevant for like specific counter attack build for him. Usually what you want to actually choose is the right side reaction skill, Curse. When hit by an active attack, damage taken is decreased by 8%. Upon receiving an active attack, inflicts vulnerable 2 on the attack of 2 turns. So usually you do want to choose Curse for his skills. You don't want to choose the counter attack. And with the counter attack reaction, like when you're at 3 stars, you only start with 2 stacks of Curse Mark. I mean, you can get more stacks, but 2 stacks of Curse Mark is basically you doing 1 active attack, right? 1 active attack and then 1 strike back, and then the 2 stacks is gone. Next, let's look at the rank 7 skill. So Curse Blade, Whirling Twist. So it is a 3 cost skill. Physical damage, deals 150% damage to all enemies within 1 tile of the target. So plus shape range here. Inflicts block reaction skills and block passive skills to the target for 1 turn before attacking. And when having Curse Armor punishment, so when in that transformation phase and having no less than 4 stacks of Curse Mark, so you need that 4 stacks, consumes 2 stacks to increase skill multiplier by additional 150% and crit by 30%. So when he does have those 4 stacks and he consumes 2, this is a 300%, essentially a single target multiplier with 30% crit. So huge damage here from this skill. So what you can do is you can equip them with these skills and play him as a single target, but you do need 4 or 5 stars here. So we go transformation, and then we do the 3 costs, 300%. Huge damage. But look at his curse stacks. His curse stacks goes down to 3 there. So literally, he can only really support 2 turns of this. Go single target. And then, because we're at 5 star, we're getting that 2 additional curse stacks at the end of the turn. So we can just keep spamming. And then now, he transforms back, right? Like, even at 5 star, does have an off turn here. The skill is on cooldown, right? I suppose if we have the flag, we can consistently just spam the skill, right? So we'll transform. Actually, the flag is sort of hiding him, so I'll probably position him here. So we just spam the skill. That's the second turn. Third turn. Ends his transformation. Oh, he still can't transform, can he? Because he's still missing the curse stacks. Yeah, so he still does really have an off turn. Unless he's able to like cleanse the debuffs and everything. Takes the debuffs from the allies. Like if he has his astral imprint and everything. So the other rank 7 skill is his big AoE. He does want both of these skills. First Blade Abyssal Prism. It is a 4 energy cost. Physical damage. Performs 1 attack, dealing 60% damage to all enemies within 1, 2, 3 tile radius of the character respectively. And then inflicts block healing received and block attribute buffs for 2 turns. Before attacking, the character gains potential burst first. That increases attack by 20%, defense by 40%, and healing received by 30%. When having this effect, immune to potential bursts. So you can't stack potential burst skills. After attacking, inflicts block resolve for 2 turns and stun for 1 turn if the target is in a dying state. So what we can do here with Parsifal is we'll need to give him energy support. And we'll just do the transformation. And we'll run him to the middle of the mobs here and do his AoE. Like, look how big this range is. So how big is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 7x7 AoE square, right? A huge AoE, 3 instances of damage, and then he can just keep spamming this. Okay, we run out of energy, so we'll just need to support him with a bit more energy. And just spam it a bit more. He's out of that transformation phase. It's on cooldown. Let's spam this again, and then we give him some energy, and then he transforms. So remember, if he's killing mobs, then he's getting the energy back. That's the energy we're missing because we're not killing these mobs, right? Because we do have this skill, Scythe of Defilement. If target was defeated during this turn, recovers 1 additional energy. Next up, we have his rank 9 skill. This is also a bait skill, in my opinion. Ring Slash. 75% AoE damage to all targets within a 1 tile radius of the target. The nice AoE, 3x3, 75%. And then the right side we have is a basic armor piercing strike, 100%, does the debuffs and everything. The reason why I think this is more of a bait skill here for him, and you'll rather go the armor piercing strike, is first with the armor piercing strike, it gives you HP instead of the defense here. The second thing is you want to actually kill targets. HP 3%, like if you do want to do physical attacks, you probably do have like Scythe of Defilement. you do want to kill a target and you're getting the energy back, because the only time you're using a basic is if you're lacking energy to do your main skill. So you want to actually kill targets to get that energy back so you can spam your main skills. But yeah, this is a more of a player choice, right? That's more of a player choice between the rank 9 skill. Like, I did end up choosing the AoE anyway, but this is the main issue. Rank 5, like Curse over Bloodstained Thorns, that counterattack reaction. And talking about counterattack, let's look at our rank 11 skills. Invulnerable, like we've seen this before, it's fairly basic. The right side is what's important here. Soul Corroded Corpse. Passive, damage taken is decreased by 20%. Before receiving an active attack, deals 2 random buffs from the target and inflicts 2 random level 2 debuffs for 2 turns. Strike back count per turn is increased by 2. So this is really just for his counter attack build. Most of the time you won't really be using this at all. Like, this is for Bloodstained Thorns and you're building like a full-on counter attack build, which is usually the build that you won't be using. Like, this is the lower, the more niche build. And then the rank 13 Ascension skill. This is the generic one. 2 or more characters within 2 tiles of the character. Damage increased by 4. Damage taken is reduced by 4. So pretty decent. He's usually surrounded by enemies, so this skill does trigger. So you use either choice of the basic attack, preferably Armor Piercing Strike, and then use the Curse reaction, and then mainly going either with so you always pretty much be using Scythe of Defilement and Curse Blade Bloodshed, and then either choosing between the AoE or single target. If you have enough energy support, you can take out Scythe of Defilement for the charge, because the charge doesn't use up the curse marks. It's essentially a free use skill there for you. And lastly, the niche counterattack build. So taking the counterattack reaction, Soul Corroded Corpse, and then Bloodshed, or you could go Scythe of Defilement, and then probably the AoE if you're playing the counterattack setup. I mean, counterattack Parsifal can be still pretty fun, right? We do an AoE, and then we get hit, counterattack, get hit, counterattack. Let's give us some energy and spam another AoE. But then he disappears, right? Because he uses up all his curse mark stacks. Where is it? Curse mark stacks. Uses up all the curse mark stacks and then disappears off battle because I've already triggered and died, triggering the Blood Offering finale. And literally just like disappears from battle, right? So, I mean, it's a niche use in like Tower Versity as well, because it doesn't count as a unit. And let's talk about gear. So Parsifal's Astral Imprint is this trinket, Fafnir the Scarlet Armor. So when the base movement is no more than 3, which is pretty much every character except for Seekers, increasing the movement by 1 tile. Increases attack and defense by 9%. Remember, this is the 5-star effect. At start of the round, gains 3 stacks of Scarlet Armor. The Scarlet Armor is a debuff. For each stack, reduces attack and defense by a certain percentage up to 3 stacks. So for each stack, reduces attack and defense by 2% up to 3 stacks, lasting for 2 turns. So this reduces attack and defense by 6%. So we're getting +9 and then -6. So this is only 3% attack and defense. But remember, Parsifal can dispel these debuffs on him. So in Parsifal's initial Sin Binding state, the debuffs increase his defense there. In his punishment state, he dispels debuffs every single turn. At the start of turn, dispel 5 debuffs. And then when he's using his blood irrigation or blood offering, he does change the debuffs up to 5 debuffs into level 2 buffs here. They're definitely really good for Parsifal because he has ways of reducing or getting rid of this Scarlet Armor debuff. And even at 1 star, right? 1 star, you're already getting 3 stacks. And then these 3 stacks it's pretty detrimental, right? This is 12% reduction. And then you get +3. So minus 12 plus 3. This is minus 9% attack and defense. But it's still I guess this is still good for utility, right? If you don't care about losing stats on your unit, but you want that extra move, then having spare pieces of this trinket can be very useful. So with that trinket giving us plus move, our Curse Armor Punishment also gives us plus move. The Parsifal actually turns into a 5-move character. So being a spear user and being a 5-move character, this means that Parsifal can potentially use Army Breaking Spear if you're welling on his trinket as well. Crit and attack by 10%, no less than 5. Increases crit damage by 10%. Like, he does have a lot of crit and crit damage in his kit. And then his skills do have like a lot of energy. So getting the reset is really nice. So another use of Hermina's Army Breaking Spear, another user, if you get his trinket. Otherwise, with spears, you're looking at double-sided halberd, getting the physical attack and extra AoE damage. Potentially, you could also use the Nameless Staff, right? The Nameless Staff does give him an extra move as well. So with his trinket, he could be like 6 move after transformation and getting like the crit quite easily as well. And the trinket, fairly standard, like go with like Shield of Justice, Hourglass. He could potentially run Crystal Burst, especially for his counterattack setup. And there was also something niche that you could run with like Arm Guard or Roaring Flint, where doing the Arm Guard effect, this sudden strike, does also reduce his curse marks. So you could look at like cycling his skills so he gets out of the curse armor punishment back into the normal mode, because like at the end of the turn you're getting the curse marks. So sometimes you do want to end it, so you're getting that additional curse marks at the end of turn, because you don't get these end of turn curse marks when you're having the curse armor punishment. For engravings, definitely recommending the Sword and Wand. He does move quite a bit. And for tarots, we could look at Devil, we can look at Magician, we can also look at Justice as well. He does get a lot of crit and crit damage in his kit. And lastly, for his counterattack setup, you can also look at doing Tower. But yeah, that is Parsifal. Don't screw up his skills like what I did and barely have any Castella to fix it. I do prefer getting the curse, you know, the extra vulnerable 2, and doing the single target instead of the AoE ring slash. But yeah, that is Parsifal. Like, he's pretty expensive to build. You do want him at 4 or 5 star, and that's not really, I feel like that's not really possible in the current banner schedule. There's too many units that do want shard farming. So unless you're going in and welling hard on Parsifal, like, you do really want his armor as well, his trinket. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Maybe if you get Parsifal in the future, you could look at running him, but yeah, I feel like at this stage we don't even know when Parsifal is coming, right? But yeah, I'll end it there. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.